Respondents cited elevated prices in general and oil, gas, and groceries specifically, along with concerns about war, trade, and jobs. I'm Jennifer King.
At the closing bell on Wall Street, the Dow was up by 160 points. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bob Agnew.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and comfy this evening, a low temperature dipping to 71. Tomorrow, not as warm, increasing clouds, a high of 89, a 40% chance we get afternoon storms. Rain chances increase Thursday to 50%, 60% on Friday, and high temps much more manageable, the mid to upper 80s the rest of the week. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com. The Point.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sports Talk here on the Sports Talk Media Network. It's a Talking Tuesday. We are back on the road tonight, the short trip up I-26 to Newberry College, home of the Wolves, the national semifinalist in Division II last season. And they're looking to build on that, maybe take that next step. But, boy, they lost some good players off that team last year, including a quarterback who did some magical stuff for them. So we'll be visiting with the Wolves here a little bit after 7 o'clock. They were actually – I don't get to see a lot of this because most teams practice early. They were actually practicing this afternoon inside the stadium, inside Setzler Field. Got a chance to see them run around just a little bit, but they finished up now for the most part. Yeah, it looks like the women's lacrosse team has taken over the field. Or maybe it's the women's soccer team. I can't tell for sure. But somebody is on the field practicing. It's not the football team. I do not see helmets and shoulder pads out there. I can promise you that. Chris Bergen at the Berge Palace in Sardis, and the plumber Josh Cohen back at our studios in Columbia. Our phone number, 888-898-2525. That is the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to reach us here on Sports Talk tonight. And our text line number, 803-900-4847, 803-900-4847. Met with Shane Beamer today for his Tuesday press conference for about a half hour where he was a little bit saucy at the very beginning. You know, he, like a lot of coaches, they read things, they hear things stay on their minds, and when it comes to their press conference, it gives them a chance to react to things and express their feelings, Bergie. And he had a couple of things on his mind at the very beginning. Number one, the comments that were made last week about Lenoris Sellers and his academics, because Lenoris just openly and honestly told the media last Tuesday that he doesn't have to take any classes. He's just finishing up his degree by taking an internship job out at Partee Driving Range in West Columbia. And for some reason, some people saw fit to take him to task for that and to make light of that, not considering the fact that he'd done all his required academic work up to this point to get him to the stage where that's all he needs to finish his degree. And that's not unusual, whether it's a football player or a piano player at a school. You finished up all your other work. You just need an internship to finish up your hours and your degree, and you go do something that you like. And as we've talked about here, as well documented, he loves golf. He's into golf. That's something that he's passionate about. And this gives him a chance to do two things: scratch that golf itch and finish up his degree work. As Beamer pointed out, you'll hear him talk about it. He's an all-academic SEC guy, and maybe an academic All-American.
He's also in the engineering. Are we going to criticize him for that? If you were criticizing Lenore Sellers, I need to see your follow up on the players who have spent 4 years at 4 different schools too.
Yeah, exactly. So he spent some time on that. He spent some time on dismissing any conversation about the color of his shirt last week, not being, I guess,
funny.
Perfectly garnet in mix. So the point is, as he said, I'm tired of talking. I mean, he's ready to play some football. He's ready to
I don't blame him.
Have Kent State come running into Williams-Brice Stadium. He even mentioned that he visited the new women's bathrooms at Williams-Brice Stadium, and they look great. He was very happy about the way the women's bathrooms looked at Williams-Brice. There's always been a lot of conversation about the bathroom situation at Williams-Brice, and apparently the women's bathrooms were lacking in quality. I can't say I've ever been in a women's bathroom at Williams-Brice Stadium. Have you? You ever visited one?
I have not.
Yeah.
Very proud of that fact. I always go into the men's restroom. But, one of the other improvements, I would assume, at USC that came out yesterday, we didn't get a chance to mention it. The state newspaper did a story about it. They've moved the visiting locker rooms, too, over to the south end of the stadium. So now the visiting teams, instead of coming out right in front of the Carolina students, which is probably a good idea, now they'll come running out on the field right by their band and their fans, which I think is a major improvement for Williams-Brice Stadium. A smart move on USC's part.
Well, does that hurt? I mean, does that take away a little bit of a home field advantage for South Carolina? Because, does it affect the team if they're unnerved, some coming out of the locker room because before they would come out underneath, did they have the awning over the top there? I think they did have the awning to keep fans from throwing things on them.
Yes.
But you're coming out being squeezed between the students and the fans sitting there. Maybe they get inside your head a little bit. Maybe they unnerve you some. And now you're going to be coming through the more pacified end in front of your own fans. Seems to me that takes away a little bit of the fang side of the stadium. The fang sticking their fangs into a visiting team, maybe getting in the quarterback's head a little bit. Seems like you lose a little bit of that by taking them away from that other entrance. But I understand that. So I wonder what they're doing with that old locker room on that old side there. I guess they're turning into something else.
That's a good question. I would imagine that might be part of the phase 2 of the renovations. But it's interesting. You bring up a valid point, I think. But I think the flip side of this is the inappropriate nature on occasion. It's not always the case. But let's face it, especially the Clemson game. How many times did Clemson players talk about stuff that they got thrown at them as they came on the field? You don't need that. And so fortunately, I think this will probably eliminate that. You sometimes have to police your own people as much as you have to police anybody else.
Let me point this out that Clemson recently renovated their locker rooms as well, and the visitors' locker room, you run out in front of your own fans. Like when South Carolina plays at Clemson, that's Gamecock fans sitting down there on that lower level there. So they're coming out to somewhat friendly fire.
Yeah.
And they've won their last 2 up there. I'm just saying, maybe.
Well, it doesn't seem to bother Clemson to come out in front of the students, does it, at Williams-Brice Stadium? Because it's almost a friendly atmosphere for them as well as they played in Columbia.
Yeah, that's true. It goes both ways, I guess, so we'll see.
It sure does.
I'm really just barking up a tree here that really doesn't matter. I think, if South Carolina's good enough to beat Tennessee and Georgia, Tennessee and Georgia and the other good teams they play inside Williams-Brice, it's not going to matter where that visiting locker room is, All right, so a lot of stuff going on, Bergie. It's pretty amazing how quickly leagues can move on certain items that they really want to take action with. And the Big Ten took action today. I guess their presidents, their ADs, whatever, they took action today and moved quickly to close the door on Big Ten teams taking players who were in NFL camps. Now, the SEC apparently is interested in doing the same thing, but they haven't taken that action quite so quickly.
No, and I think the Big Ten is probably a little bit closer to unanimous in their opinions than the SEC is going to be clearly. LSU is going to be the first to say, no, we're fine. You leave us alone. And again, the couple of questions you have to ask yourself: is it worth it to go through this much trouble for 1 year?
Yeah.
Because this is not going to happen moving forward. This is pretty much it, you would think. Now, who knows in the current state of college athletics, but the 2022 kids are, they're not going to come back and want to have a 6th year of eligibility and a 7th year, you wouldn't think. And so is it worth it? And then on the flip side of this, if you pass these kind of rules, how about those kids who have been told by a district judge, a state judge, that they can come back and play? Are they going to sue the Big Ten for collusion? I mean, is this a situation where all the Big Ten presidents got together and the ADs got together and we didn't have a chance to voice our concerns and complaints, so we're going to sue you guys because you got together to keep us from having an opportunity to play football?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we've heard the end of this.
I would agree.
All the internet lawyers who've been jumping up every time a player wants to sue and taking it to a state court and getting a remedy in their favor. I can't believe they're going to sit back and let a league say that we're not taking players who are coming out of NFL camps now, that we're not going to be taking into those. We're closing that door. Because the NCAA, every time they've tried to close a door, a judge has kicked it open. I can't see them being able to I know there's going to be lawyers filing lawsuits, and I know there's going to be friendly judges ruling in favor of these players. So they might say we're not taking them, but I think they're going to be losing those battles here moving forward. With my limited legal knowledge, but just from what I read on the internet and what I've seen happen so far in these cases, they've lost practically every one. That's why I was shocked last week when the NCAA got a favorable ruling from the Colorado decision and got that turned around. So I don't know. I guess it all depends on who you find in your corner from a legal standpoint.
Yeah, I would agree. And this is obviously well beyond our knowledge of the law. But you're right. The cottage industry that's been set up for pay for play, the Darren Heitners of the world, who have taken this as their one calls now. I can't imagine they're going to wait. They probably already filed paperwork somewhere to sue the Big Ten. And as soon as the SEC, because you would think they're going to have to figure out a way, the SEC is, how are they going to handle this? And, if the SEC does it, does the Big Ten really want to prevent this as well? I mean, the Big Ten has dominated college football the last couple of years, at least on the national stage. Do they want to give the SEC back the upper hand that it's taken them so long to wrest away from the SEC?
Really? I mean, that's a good question. The Big Ten has shown the leadership here. I mean, they jumped up immediately and said, no, we're going to take action against this. And, it's because is it because LSU has taken the initiative here more than anybody else? LSU has taken the initiative to reach into that talent pool now and bring in 2 players that the head coach had previously coached, and obviously 2 guys that decided that after getting nowhere in the NFL that they wanted to go back to college and they can go play for their former coach at another school. LSU's the only one that's really stepped up in a big, big way and made that kind of noise. So the Big Ten, now they can't stop the SEC from allowing this to happen. They can't stop LSU. So I guess they're just trying to take the higher road here and say, look at us. We're willing to stop this nonsense. The SEC is not, or at least they haven't to this point. Now the SEC, from what I last read, there seems to be some movement and some discussion by the SEC people to stepping up and doing the same thing. But are they going to be able to do this and keep these guys from going to LSU, especially if they've got – now, are these guys – I'm trying to think. These 2 NFL guys who have signed with LSU, are they covered under that Louisiana ruling? Is that part of the Louisiana ruling? Were their names in that group for the Louisiana ruling?
That I do not know, Phil.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. You got different states doing different things.
Exactly.
Well, I think when Congress gets back in session, this is just my guess, because they're on a summer vacation now and getting ready for the elections, but they're going to take up the Save College Athletics Act, whatever it's called. I think they're going to pass it. I think they will eventually pass that, and we'll have a law, and then Thank you. And then we'll have a law, and then we'll have the NCAA and college athletics will have the ability to have some antitrust protection. Then they can make the rules. They can make the rules that will stand up against lawsuits or that won't be challenged in court because they have antitrust protection. So I think Congress, this probably will help get this act passed in Congress, because Congress has got to look at this and say, we're the whole foundation of what's left of college sports. I mean, it's been nuked already, and there's a little bit of foundation left, and this really makes that foundation very shaky. We've got to do something, or it's just going to totally collapse, and you're just going to have an entirely new professional league, which you've already, pretty much taken that step, and this will just complete it.
I think most people who listen to this program understand my disdain for anything the federal government does, and I don't trust them for their thing or throw them. And my concern about them passing a law to govern or help at least govern college athletics is it's going to turn into the current setup with South Carolina High School League, where federal government say, hey, you know what? We can have another subcommittee that will run college athletics out of Washington. The NCAA has gotten feckless. They can't do anything, so why don't we give it a shot? And I think we're going down a very slippery slope if we let the folks in Washington start to legislate and dictate how college athletics is run. Something's got to happen, I would agree. And I understand why the SEC and the Big Ten and all the major conferences are begging for federal intervention here. I think you need to pump the brakes on that a little bit, because we've seen 9 times out of 10, anything the federal government touches, it gets worse. It doesn't get better.
Well, I wouldn't say everything. I mean, our interstate system.
I said 9 out of 10.
Our interstate system is pretty good. They built that for the most part.
Go drive down 95 into Georgia before you get to Georgia and remind me of that.
Well, I mean, at least it helps you get from point A to point B, over bridges, through the swamps. I got to give them some credit. I got to give them some credit. Got to give them some credit.
I left the door slightly ajar when I said 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, that's right. You did. Okay, so we're off and running here at Newberry. Looking forward to having the Wolves with us here in our second hour. Coach Todd Knight and a couple of players will be here, and we'll get the lowdown on them as they get ready for the season. And we'll hear from Shane Beamer, as he did about a half hour with the media today. We'll bring you a couple of excerpts of that coming up a little bit later. A little bit of recruiting news for you as well. A visit from Josh Harris from Darlington. This is the week before Darlington, the final week of the regular season in NASCAR. So in the Cup Series, pretty much got the playoff contenders determined. Could be a little shuffling. This is Daytona, so some funny things can happen. Daytona on Saturday night. Weird things do happen. So give us a call, 888-898-2525. Text us, 803-900-4847.
Hi, I'm attorney Jim Corbett. For over 35 years, I've been making claims, litigating cases, and mediating cases. Quick checks from a car wreck are usually lowball offers. What happens 5 or more years from now when you didn't get the treatment or compensation you needed? Call me, Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. Corbett with an E, and the initial consultation is free. Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968.
If you're a new parent or grandparent, it might be tough to picture your little ones heading off to college, but it'll be here before you know it. I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 College Savings Plan, makes it easy to start saving for a child's future education right now. You can start with any amount. Contributions are tax deductible and earnings grow tax-free. Discover the smart, easy way to save for college today at futurescholar.com. That's futurescholar.com.
Earned history, chased glory, lived consequences. 500 miles against the Lady in Black. A NASCAR Crown Jewel Too Tough to Tame Labor Day Weekend Classic. The Cookout Southern 500. The chase for the next NASCAR Cup Series champion starts here. The NASCAR Chase Weekend at Darlington Raceway, September 5th through 6th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network on a Talking Tuesday from Newberry. Phone number 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. Learn more about the lottery's impact at sceducationlottery.com/educationwins. Playing for fun is a win for education. Poll question of the week brought to you by Larry Lucas, State Farm Insurance. Larry's been taking care of people across the state for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds of more. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com, 803-799-1998, the Columbia number, 803-359-0770, the number in Lexington. All right, a few other things here. So Pete Nakos reported that sources continue to tell him that the SEC has an appetite to pass an NFL rule similar to what the Big Ten voted on today. Said SEC leaders are meeting as LSU is pushing to add former NFL players. The Big Ten bans that, and the ACC meets on Wednesday. You know, it's amazing to me, Bergie, is how quickly. This tells you how quickly they can act on things. Mm-hmm. They've dragged their feet on so many other issues. But, boy, they jumped on this like a hot potato.
Yeah, it's weird that they deemed this the worst affront to college athletics. And again, I don't think a player who played in a game in the NFL, nor in the NBA, nor in Major League Baseball should come back to college. That being said, there are much greater and bigger fish to fry that takes them way too long. Like, for instance, you've got 2 kids who are going to go to LSU, it appears, because they want to continue to play for their former head coach. How does this not fall under the interconference transfer rule from Ole Miss to LSU that the SEC is against?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, this is where all rules go to die, I guess. So I don't know. They are going to look at it, and I guess because once you have left and gone on to a professional league, and then you want to come back.
You're no longer an Ole Miss Rebel, I guess.
You're no longer that. Yeah, you're an outside free agent. And that's the thing. I mean, all these guys are free agents in the real world of the business sense of college athletics now. They're free agents. Free means free to move wherever you want to go. And thus, you're not transferring. You're not coming directly from school A to school B. You know, I'm kind of torn here a little bit, to be honest with you, because the college athletic scene has become so much like the professional scene in almost every facet. We have general managers running organizations. We have basically unlimited staff sizes now. We've increased the number of folks on the rosters. We're paying the players millions of dollars. In almost every way, it mimics the legacy professional leagues, does it not? The only way that it does not mimic is the way the athletes are procured. You have a draft in those leagues. Here you still have recruiting, which I would like to see them kill recruiting and figure out another way to procure your players, because, you know, the recruiting is what's driving up and I think you will see recruiting killed. I think one day you're going to have to see a new system, because it's the recruiting that's pushing the price tag higher and higher. Now, maybe once Congress passes the legislation and they get some protections, then maybe, you know, that will change. But personally, with the way the world is now, you know, 5 years ago I wouldn't have felt this way. But, you know, if a guy gets cut from a professional league, doesn't make the team, you know, what's the harm of him coming back to college? Now that he's got 5 years, if he has another year of eligibility, you know, what's the harm in having that potential pool of players and being able to recruit from there and add to your team if you need to fill a spot? If you know, in the case of South Carolina, Shane Beamer today made it pretty clear that he's not a big fan of doing this, but they had a need at the cornerback spot, and they had a scholarship available. He doesn't have to cut anybody. He said he would never cut a player to bring in somebody late in camp like this. So he had a scholarship available. He ran it past both the older members of the cornerback room and the older members of the defense and got blessings from both groups. That this is a way to help the team, that they needed more depth at corner. And Ethan Johnson's not coming in to be a starter. He's coming in to be a backup. Mm-hmm. And to him, it made a lot of sense. Now, DQ Smith was also addressed, and to him, that didn't make a lot of sense because they're 4 deep at the safety positions, 2 and 2, and they like their 4 safeties that they have right now. Even though DQ Smith is a terrific player and maybe would crack the starting lineup, but I think because he took that last scholarship, if that was the last scholarship, he would have had to have cut somebody to make room for DQ Smith and chose not to do that. All right, we'll be right back.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and comfy this evening, a low temperature dipping to 71. Tomorrow, not as warm, increasing clouds, a high of 89, a 40% chance we get afternoon storms. Rain chances increase Thursday to 50%, 60% on Friday, and high temps much more manageable, the mid to upper 80s the rest of the week. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
If you've never had genuine Wagyu or Hereford steaks and burgers, you don't know what you're missing. Time to order the best of the best from HandJCattle.com. These are local farmers in Saluda where tradition meets quality. The best quality beef and a discount for Point listeners. Enter keyword The Point as one word and get 10% off, plus free delivery in Lexington and Richland County orders of $50 or more. It's cooked in season over at HandJCattle.com.
The Point.
Reported as with SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Dolly Parton, the beloved music and film star known for her vibrant personality and poignant songwriting, has died. She was 80 years of age. Her career spanned decades with hits like Jolene and I Will Always Love You. Born in Tennessee, she rose from humble beginnings to become a country music icon. Pennsylvania health officials report 2 unvaccinated residents have died after being infected with measles. They are the first measles-related deaths in the U.S. this year, following 3 last year. The U.S. is experiencing its worst measles year since 1991, with 2,777 cases reported as of Thursday. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 180 points, the Nasdaq rose 171, the S&P advanced 24. More details at srnnews.com.
Nobody plans for a plumbing problem. They come unannounced and usually at a very inconvenient time. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is your trusted ally. They recognize just how vulnerable a customer is at this time, and they want to help. They have well-trained plumbers who are there to make a difference when you need it most. I've experienced this. They're knowledgeable about their craft. They're not coming to your house to pitch new products. If something is broken, they'll give you a price to fix it if it's possible, or a price to replace it if necessary. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is also locally owned and operated, or I simply wouldn't endorse them. Josh and his team prioritize customer service above everything else. They handle every issue with care and precision. Those are not just words. I've had Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning out to my home. They back up those words with their actions. If you have a crisis, get some peace of mind. Online, you find them at franklinplumbing.sc.com, or you call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. I'm absolutely positive they will make whatever is wrong right again. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning.
Attention all gun owners. Did you know you can now purchase a suppressor without a Form 4 and only a 4473? Palmetto State Armory is the go-to destination for suppressors with brands like Dead Air, Advanced Armament, Silencer Co., and many more on hand. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff is there to help walk you through the suppressor buying process and help you make the right decision, whether it's your first suppressor purchase or your 10th. Stop in today and take advantage of the new 4473 transfer process at Palmetto State Armory, your premier suppressor dealer. Offer only valid for South Carolina residents.
Earned history. Chased glory. Lived consequences. 500 miles against the Lady in Black. A NASCAR Crown Jewel Too Tough to Tame Labor Day Weekend Classic. The Cookout Southern 500. The chase for the next NASCAR Cup Series champion starts here. The NASCAR Chase Weekend at Darlington Raceway, September 5th through 6th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
South Carolina summers are hot and humid and hard on your air conditioner. When your home stops feeling comfortable, call Sweet Comfort Services. We're family owned and operated with over 30 years of heating and air experience. From service and maintenance to complete system replacement, we're here to keep your family cool. We'll even meet or beat any quote from a licensed competitor. Schedule your appointment online at sweethvac.com or call 803-331-8143. Sweet Comfort Services, comfort you can count on.
Experience South Carolina's printing powerhouse. Professional Printers is your trusted partner, bringing over 30 years of expertise in print and graphics. From digital printing to web and sheet-fed solutions, we handle it all with a team of over 100 dedicated professionals. Locally owned and operated, we have 2 locations in the Midlands and serve our customers with pride, ensuring top-notch service and quality in every project. We do it all, including storage and promotional products. Visit proprinters.com and elevate your printing experience with us.
Back we are, Sports Talk Media Network, Talking Tuesday, coming to you from Newberry College, inside the beautiful athletic building that they have here at Newberry that they constructed a couple of years ago for Coach Todd Knight and his group. It's got the Founders Federal's name on it, Founders Federal, that great organization, part of what we do here on Sports Talk, and find them at locations all across the state. Heavily involved in the sports scene in South Carolina, so great to see them involved here at Newberry College. Coming up, we're going to hear from Shane Beamer, a couple of segments with him from his press conference earlier today. Let's touch on some other things of interest today because there's a lot of stuff going on as we got teams naming their starting quarterbacks. But here was a story that caught my eye earlier this morning. Bergie from Clemson, Larry Williams at Tiger Illustrated, wrote a story and saying that sources told him last week was, quote, not a great one, end quote, for Christopher Vezina. And the competition with Tate Reynolds for the starting quarterback job versus LSU remains real. Source called it a close one. And he was alluding to the fact also that, remember, Dabo Swinney was kind of in a foul mood on Thursday.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Didn't name anybody in particular, just called it a terrible practice. That might go back to the play of the quarterback. This is not what you want to hear if you're a Clemson fan closing in on game week.
No, and this didn't come from out of left field. I mean, Larry Williams, you can pretty much take anything he reports straight to the bank. He does a terrific job up there. So while we rely on him as much as we do here at Sports Talk. That being said, you have to wonder if there's, maybe not from Larry's perspective, but you have to wonder if there's a little bit, let's keep, especially with what LSU is doing, trying to add players left and right, let's keep those guys guessing too as to whether or not we actually indeed have a quarterback battle. I don't doubt that Tate Reynolds has impressed, but you wonder, has he closed the gap that much in 3 weeks of fall camp to where there's actually a legitimate concern as to whether or not Christopher Vezina is actually going to be the starter next Saturday?
You know, I'm not sure LSU's even concerned about who Clemson's starting quarterback is.
They probably don't have time to worry about Clemson right now.
They're too busy, rebuilding their roster with NFL dropouts that they don't have to worry about who Clemson throws out there. Just
sure,
go sick the quarterback. I think we're going to see again from Clemson, and this just sort of reinforces my feeling. And I can't wait to get into game week next week when we have Coach Willis with us and Coach Reedy, assuming he's back from Turks and Caicos, which I think he will be. He's taking one of those vacations of his. Coach Reedy, Coach Johnson, have them on to break it all down. And I mean, I got to believe that the consensus will be that regardless of who the quarterback is at Clemson, running the football is going to be mainstream for them, at least early on, which would be kind of a shame because they've got that talent at wide receiver. You've got to feed Wesco and T.J. Moore in particular. And I think the Sellers kid is having a real good camp, the true freshman. You might hear more about him moving forward and some others. They need to be fed the football as well. But if you don't have a quarterback who can get it done, then you've got to turn to your running game.
Yeah, but LSU may not be if their defense is like it was last year, which was very salty against the run. you're not going to be able to push 200-plus yards on them. You're going to have to stretch the field and get those linebackers and secondary members off the line of scrimmage, or that's all LSU will do. They'll just put 9 in the box and say, all right, Vizina, go beat us. But you're right. He's got the weapons on the outside to beat them if he can get them the football, or Tate Reynolds can get them the football. But they can't just solely, go 90% ground attack and hope to beat LSU, because I don't think that'll work. That'll be like banging your head against a brick wall outside all afternoon.
That's true. I mean, you got to have some flexibility in what you're doing. All right, a few other things. We'll hear from Shane Beamer coming up in a little bit, but today's kind of a heavy news day. A lot of things to discuss besides what the SEC might do, what the Big 12 is thinking about doing, the ACC, the Big 10. All of a sudden now all these people are reacting so quickly to get this done because they want to stop LSU from who knows how many players can LSU sign. Wake Forest named North Carolina transfer Gio Lopez its starting quarterback for this season. He's the former South Alabama quarterback.
Pretty good there, too.
Well, he's thrown for almost 5,000 yards in his career, but he stunk. He absolutely stunk at North Carolina last year, didn't he? Well, he got hurt.
Right.
He did get hurt, I think, early. And then they went with the Johnson kid. Basically plays on one leg. That knee of his has been hurt so many times. And the Johnson kid is going to be the starting quarterback at Georgia Southern this year. I don't know if you saw that. So he'll be the starting quarterback there. Let's see here. Tennessee linebacker Arian Carter. His NCAA suspension was reduced to 1 game, according to the athletics director, Danny White. All right, so he's only going to have to miss 1 game. Charleston Southern head coach Gabe Gardenia. Of course, they open up on Thursday against Lindenwood out in Missouri, and it will be Lek Powell, L-E-K, Lek Powell, as the starting quarterback for the Buccaneers. Going back to this NFL, this new NFL stream back to college, according to Amanda Kristovich, who is with Front Office Sports, she wrote more NFL preseason players. Now we're calling them preseason players who were part of the NCAA freshman class of 22 who've been suing for a 5th year are contacting attorneys to consider filing lawsuits, just as we expected. Meanwhile, schools are exploring signing them to maintain competitive advantage. So, I mean, this thing's just never ending. It's just never ending, one thing after another. Let's see, what else do we have here? Kim Mulkey had an interesting situation.
Yeah, this is unfortunate across the board.
So she had signed a player from the Ukraine, right?
Correct.
And then she signed a player from Russia. And the player from Ukraine said, I'm out of here, right? I guess she doesn't want to be on a roster with a player from Russia.
I can't blame her. I mean, how tone deaf can you be if you're Kim Mulkey?
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Then again, sports is supposed to bring us all together, Berkey, as into one happy family.
True. But yeah, that may stretch even the most welcoming person when your country is being attacked by another country and you're supposed to be teammates. That's a little difficult to swallow, I would think.
So, NBA G Leaguer R.J. Lewis Jr. has been ruled eligible to play for, I give you one guess.
Is he the guy who wants to go play in the WNBA?
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
I knew there was a joke about there was somebody. No, it's obviously LSU.
LSU. What is it about LSU? They're in every one of these stories. This guy was a 2025 Big East Player of the Year. He passed on his senior year of eligibility to go to the NBA, but he went undrafted. So now he's getting another chance. So he's been ruled eligible now to play at LSU. This is by John Rothstein. What is it about flipping LSU that it is attracting? John Blau, former Clemson beat writer, now at LSU. He says, watch for Trey'Dez Green to make room for for Daquan Wright. Trey'Dez Green, who's listed as a tight end, but he's 6'7", but he can really split out and be a wide receiver. So he says, look for him to be featured as a wideout and in the slot with Wright being the inline tight end guy. How about that?
There's no truth to the rumor that tomorrow Sports Talk is going to be called Tiger Bites moving forward.
Really?
It's just
I can't help it. They're dominating the flipping news. A couple of other things. We didn't mention this last night, but Florida named former Georgia Tech reserve quarterback Aaron Philo as its starting quarterback. Tennessee has named true freshman Faison Brandon as its starting quarterback. And here's a story we didn't get to last night, but again, LSU. So Lane Kiffin, his exit from Ole Miss, according to Walker Jones, who is the executive director of the Grove Collective, the Ole Miss program asked for help from the FBI to determine whether Kiffin had bugged the team's offices. He said this on a podcast, quote, "We actually had the FBI come through and walk the building for bugs and for everything. We knew kind of what was in Baton Rouge, and we knew how they operated. I remember getting on my knees and looking underneath the desk, like checking for, is there some sort of bug in my office? Somebody was like, what are you doing? I'm like, you trust me. You don't know this guy like I did." End of the quote. Can you believe that? I mean.
Yet they had no problem with him when he was the head coach at Ole Miss. Now all of a sudden he's, Satan incarnate.
Well, and I mean, it goes back to, Kiffin putting a deadline on the assistants to come join him on the plane or be left behind going to Ole Miss, stripping the Ole Miss team of its staff for the most part while they're getting ready for a playoff game. But, it's easy for a guy to go on a podcast and make these sort of allegations.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, man.
The FBI is not going to confirm, obviously.
Yeah. But, I mean, golly, just, is Clemson
Does it surprise you, though? I mean, if somebody told you that story is 100% true, would it surprise you in the least?
I just remember what Al Davis said when he fired him. The biggest liar I'd ever met with or dealt with in my entire life. The greatest liar, something like that. Don't remember his exact words.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but here's the thing. Do you think Clemson, they're back to being little old Clemson? Everybody's hating on Clemson as far as their projections for this year by normal standards. Clemson has slipped. Clemson's not as good as they used to be. Dabo Swinney has lost it. He's not keeping up with the times. They don't have the personnel, blah, blah, blah. They all might be right. They might all be wrong. But they're going to play LSU national television, 7:45, I think it is, a week from Saturday night in Baton Rouge. LSU is probably the most despised athletic program in the country right now in every aspect. Think about who their basketball coach is. And
Coach is.
I get you. I got you. But I'm really thinking about
Mulkey's not one of the more popular women's basketball coaches.
Yeah, I'm really thinking about the men's coach. But is Clemson going to be the sympathetic figure outside of Richland County and parts of South Carolina, and of course outside of Louisiana? Is the rest of the nation going to be pulling for Clemson? Is Clemson going to be getting the sympathetic fan support, maybe not from a gambling standpoint, but just the sympathetic fan support? Is most of America going to be rooting for Clemson to beat LSU?
I think there will be a large portion of whomever tunes into that thinking that way. I cannot stand LSU. I cannot stand Lane Kiffin, please. And then there will be some of them saying, yeah, but Dabo Swinney is the coach for the other team. Maybe they both could lose. But no, I think you're right. I think Clemson will get the sympathetic ear for a lot of folks. Unfortunately, as these things often do, evil's going to figure out a way to win.
The real evil empire lives along the bayou. All right, let's go to the break. When we come back, I'll get you to first segment with Shane Beamer, who was pretty fired up today because he's ready to go hit somebody. He's ready to go out there and put the Gamecocks on the field and show people what they've got, even if they don't have Dylan Stewart, even if they don't have Jacarius Peak, though he didn't rule him out for game one.
That was interesting.
Yeah, he didn't rule them out for game one, though we all know they're not going to play. But he didn't rule them out. So we'll hear from him when we come back from the break. And the folks from Newberry around the corner.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
Earned history, chased glory, lived consequences. 500 miles against the Lady in Black. A NASCAR Crown Jewel Too Tough to Tame Labor Day Weekend Classic. The Cookout Southern 500. The chase for the next NASCAR Cup Series champion starts here. The NASCAR Chase Weekend at Darlington Raceway, September 5th through 6th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
All right, Talking Tuesday here on Sports Talk. Shane Beamer doing some talking today as the Gamecocks are going through their mock week. Let's go to Shane Beamer from earlier today as he sort of set things up for what was on his mind. Had a couple of things that were bugging him coming into today's press conference. Here's Shane Beamer.
Getting closer to playing a game and game week, and thank God, obviously can't wait to play a game, but also tired of talking season, as Coach Spurrier used to call it, and tired of talking about the injury situation of 2 players, tired of talking about the color of the shirt that I wear up here with the backdrop behind me, tired of talking about our quarterback's class schedule. I can't wait till next week when we can actually talk about football and playing games. But on those things, shirts of the color schemes, I got nothing to do with, so I ain't getting into all that. One, I think it's absolutely ridiculous, any kind of criticism that Lenora Sellers took last week about an internship in his last semester of college. The same people out there that are criticizing that failed to report that he's been on the dean's list 4 times as a student here at Carolina, primarily taking in-person classes, failed to report that he has a chance to be an academic All-American, not academic All-Conference, academic All-American, and that he's about to graduate from South Carolina. So they failed to talk about another previous internship that he took or that he did with Contract Construction and Greg Hughes last summer, and was involved with the stadium project. So hate to see any player on our team criticized. I'm going to defend our players at all times, and that's a joke that anybody would criticize his class schedule and what he's taken in his final semester of college when he needs 1 class to graduate. So I hope he goes and has a hell of a time at the driving range and hits 1,000 balls and does a good job over there, because he's earned it. Second of all, with Peak and Stewart, I know that was some big headline last week because a national reporter was here, and I told him that it's probably unrealistic for them to play game one. I don't think that's earth-shattering, like breaking news. You guys have been out at practice, and if they're not actually practicing, there's a process in order to get ready to play. Did not rule it out. They could very easily be cleared before the Kent State game, and then I have to make a decision if they're going to be able to play or we should play them. If they just got cleared tomorrow, I probably wouldn't. They have futures they're human beings first and foremost that I care about, and they have futures in football beyond Carolina. So we'll have them out there when they're ready, and they're getting closer and closer every single day to being cleared. I've been nothing but honest with you guys and anyone else in the national media since they got hurt with the information that I have available at the time. Anybody that has these conspiracy theories out there about their whereabouts or their status or anything is not accurate. They're going to play, and they're going to play very, very, very soon. And they're ahead of progress in regards to benchmarks that they have to hit to, one, be cleared. And then it's not like we just say the Friday before the Kent State game, okay, they're cleared. All right, run your butts out there and let's go play 70 plays. Like, it doesn't happen that way, guys. So they're ahead of progress. They're going to play very, very soon. They're not there yet. It's not ruled out that they're not playing against Kent State, but it's probably unrealistic at this point. But Towson, who knows? Mississippi State, we'll see. But that's where we are right now on that one. Last week with our players, let's talk some football. Last week with our players, I thought was a really good week. Really proud of our guys and how they handled the, I don't want to say distraction, but the schedule being different with classes starting here. So they got out of camp mode. But we told them, even though you're taking classes, we are still in camp mode. And really was pleased with the way they handled their business last week. Got off to a good start academically in the classroom. And then along those lines, too, let's digress back to academics. Sorry, Michael. Nobody wants to report that I think the 4 highest grade point averages in the history of the football program at the University of South Carolina are in the last 4 semesters with what our guys are doing well academically. So it's not just Lenoris that bothers me that got criticized. When you criticize one guy, you're criticizing all of our players and what they're doing from an academic standpoint. And our guys are doing a great job. Justin Light, who heads up our academics for our football players, is doing a great job. And our guys are killing it academically and are true student athletes. Back to football. Impressed with the way that our players handled last week. Got a lot of situational work in. We went in the stadium on Saturday. 12:45 kickoff, just like the Kent State game is going to be. So we simulated everything that a game day is going to be like at Carolina. Pre-game warm-ups, because we got a lot of coaches and players that are going through that for the first time. So wanted to make sure we were all on the same page with how we do things in pregame warm-ups, how we do things when we come off the field after pregame warm-ups, how we do things during the game, how we do things at halftime, everything. Got a new trainer, new coaches, a lot of new. But went out, had a 100-plus play scrimmage, got a lot of really good work in, did quite a bit of live. We actually tackled around here, did some live tackling last week. Thought we got better, and know we got better. Stayed injury-free, which was really, really key, and thought it was a really, really good week. We've obviously added to the roster. Shout out SEC Shorts. I saw the new SEC Shorts spoof last week. This is the media guide's got to be updated. Kudos to SEC Shorts. I was watching. But yes, the media guide is updated because we have a new player with Ethan Johnson being added to the roster. And again, for me, it's always about doing what's best for the football team. I'm not a big fan of adding players this late, and initially was not planning on doing anything, but saw an opportunity, as you guys have heard from me, if you've asked me, which I know you've had, like positions that I'm concerned about. I've always said to you guys, I want more depth at every position, but I've also said that I'm a little bit concerned about the depth at corner just because we're down some guys. I mean, Brandon Cisse left early for the NFL draft, and we were, numbers weren't quite where we wanted them to be, and we had some freshmen that are going to be good players, but didn't love the depth at the corner position, and I saw this as an opportunity to add depth to the corner position with one really, really good player. And then from talking to people that know him, and he knows some of our players on the team, a fantastic person. But then everything was ready to roll. He was ready to sign and come. But I said, no, I'm not doing anything until I talk to a lot of the players about this and talk to our older defensive backs. They were 100% in favor of it. Not one person said, no, don't do this. Then I talked to a lot of the older guys on our team on offense and defense to make sure they were okay with this and explain my thinking in adding a player this late that hasn't been with us since January. And every single one of them were on board.
All right, Shane Beamer, we'll hear more from him coming up in hour number 2, but after the top of the hour break, we'll dive into the Newberry Wolves for 2026. Can they go as far as they did last season or maybe even farther? We'll be back.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Country music legend Dolly Parton has died at the age of 80. Correspondent Laura Winters reports on her many hit songs and the president's reaction to her death.
Her music was known around the world. She was an American original, an American icon with hit song after hit song. 9 to 5, Jolene, I Will Always Love You. President Trump on his Truth Social page reacting to Dolly Parton's death, saying there has never been anyone like her and never will. In her honor, I am lowering the American flag throughout the United States for a 1-week period. Rest in peace, Dolly. The world loves you. Laura Winters reporting.
The first 2 measles deaths in the U.S. this year are reported in Pennsylvania involving unvaccinated victims.
They're the first measles-related deaths in the U.S. this year, following 3 last year. State officials are not giving any more details about the 2 people, except that they lived in Lancaster County. The U.S. is experiencing its worst measles outbreak since 1991, with 2,777 cases as of Thursday. In November, international health officials will assess if the U.S. and Mexico have lost their measles-free status. Vaccination rates have dropped below the 95% needed to prevent outbreaks, with exemptions rising to an all-time high among kindergartners. I'm Julie Walker.
Polls are closing this hour in South Carolina to nominate a Republican to succeed the late Senator Lindsey Graham. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 180 points, the Nasdaq rose 171, the S&P 500 advanced 24. More at townhall.com.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-926-5959. That's 800-926-5959. 800-926-5959.
A once thriving farming community on the outskirts of Haiti's capital of Port-au-Prince is the latest target of gang violence. Residents there have been attacked, their homes have been burned to the ground. We hear more on the story from correspondent Lisa Dwyer reporting from New York.
Wails filled the air in Penskop as survivors found the bodies of friends and family strewn on the streets. One man flung himself on the side of the road and cried as people around him picked up bodies wrapped in blood-spattered sheets. Robert Jean says he heard shooting before dawn and tried to wake everyone up, only to find out his brother was killed. The mayor blames the attack on members of Vive Ensemble, which the U.S. government designates as a foreign terrorist organization. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and comfy this evening, a low temperature dipping to 71. Tomorrow, not as warm, increasing clouds, a high of 89, a 40% chance we get afternoon storms. Rain chances increase Thursday to 50%, 60% on Friday, and high temps much more manageable, the mid to upper 80s the rest of the week. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com. The Point.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network on a Talking Tuesday on the Palmetto Pigskin Tour. This is stop number 12 of 13. Wow. Working our way to the end because the season is here. We got to play some football.
Oh, there's no doubt.
We got to get out. We got to hit somebody.
Hey, we've been doing it for several weeks. I'm ready to hit somebody else.
That is Todd Knight, head football coach here at Newberry College. One of the Final Four teams in Division II playoffs last season. What a season. I'd have to say maybe kind of a shocking season for those on the outside, maybe not a shocking season to those on the inside. But first of all, it's great to see you once again. And what's it been like since reaching that stage of last season?
First of all, yes, it's good to see you, my friend, and welcome to the Berry.
Yes, sir.
Coming off last year, I think it was a little bit of a shock to everybody. It was picked 7th in our own league. So, I guess that goes to prove it's not where you start, but where you finish. Mm-hmm. Just an old saying, right? But coming off of that season, not arguably the best season in the history of the program, that puts the bar pretty high moving forward. And, that's a message to the kids, and the coaching staff's fully aware of it. The expectation level is high now for us. It has always been, but, never to that lofty a stage. But it was a heck of a year and a really wild and fun ride. And all the kids and all the coaches, we loved it, man. And, once you got that taste in your mouth, you want to be back. You want to be there again. You want to prove that you belong.
Yeah,
that
was no fluke.
It wasn't just a fluke. That's right.
Well, you beat Kentucky State. Then you went down to West Florida. They're always good. You beat them. Then you went to Albany State, and you beat them. Then you had to go up to Ferris State. They're really good. Did they go on to win the whole thing?
They won it all. That's right, yep.
And one of their players is over at South Carolina
That's
now.
right. Now, I think out of their 5 offensive linemen, we faced 4 of them in Division I football now. So, really good football team.
And I believe the Chambliss kid at Ole Miss, the quarterback,
came from there.
Came from Ferris
So
State.
the caliber of athlete coming out of that program is ridiculous right now. And, they got a great place. Up until that game, I think the best Division II team I'd seen had been West Florida from a couple of years back that we beat them in the playoffs. And Then we went to Fair State. Now, that's the best Division II team I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Plus, it was the coldest day of my life. And every kid on the team, it was just a learning experience going into that environment. Ridiculously cold, but a great learning experience too, Phil. We spent a lot of money. The alumni came out of the woodwork and helped us buy coats and gloves and toboggans and, all the good stuff that you need in below zero weather. And we got up there and learned that we should have bought cleats. We should have got a different cleat. And
because you did have a lot of slipping.
We had a lot of slipping, and they did not. Obviously, they're used to it and know the type of cleat that is good in that environment. And, that's something that you strike it up to a learning experience. And the trick to it for me now, moving forward, is to have a better record than them, and they come to us.
Right.
So I don't have to worry about buying
That's
cleats.
what you have to do is host.
Right.
So you lost the Magic Man, the guy that Bobby Lamb called the Johnny Manziel of South Atlantic Conference football.
Right.
And you lost a special player in Reed Sharpia. And what are you doing at quarterback to fill in those shoes? Or has he secretly gotten like an 8th year of football and he's still playing for you?
Well, when they came up with the 5th-year rule, that's the first thing I thought, let's pull Reed back in.
Yeah.
But no, I think he's 35 now, so he's over the limit.
Yeah.
Reed was a special player.
Yeah.
Arguably one of the best quarterbacks that's come through here ever. But people underestimated Reed, and I think that was part of his mystique, so to speak. He's a scrawny little thing, didn't look like he could beat anybody, and he just came from nowhere every Saturday and just proved everybody wrong. And, now he's helping carry that tradition on. He's working with us now and working with the quarterbacks, and I think he's doing a great job, transitioning into that role now for us. And, quarterback scramble drill at practice. We call it the Reed Sharpie drill, because that was kind of his forte, and he's trying to pass that along to the next guy. And we've got several guys battling for the spot right now, but I think out of the two, Mason Kidd is probably the front runner right now. Transfer guy out of northern Illinois. He's originally out of Atlanta, and then he bounced down to South Carolina State for a year or so, and then ended up with us and found a home with us. He took snaps last year, and so it's a kid that's got a little experience winning for us. And, he's a big, good-looking kid. He's got all the tools. And, we're just hoping that he'll produce and be a winner for us like Reed did.
Well, he's never thrown an incomplete pass. He's 5 for 5.
I've got that going
in
for
his
us.
career. I just got to see one more thing about Reed Sharpia. I mean, 67% completion. He threw 485 passes, almost 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 284 yards per game. That's a coach's dream. You just don't find those kind of quarterbacks and that kind of production every day.
Special kid. I think a lot of it, Phil, was maturity level. Again, I was joking. Reed's a little older. He'd bounced around. I think he's transferred 4 or 5 different places. And just finally, the day he came on campus and talked to me, I said, listen, this has got to stop. I said, you got to find a home. You got to settle down and just say, listen, I'm here, I'm in till graduation. This is going to be it, and just sell out.
Yeah.
And it took him a while, and finally he did. He bought in, and he turned into all Newberry, all in. His grandpa played here. His grandpa's in the Hall of Fame. Now he's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. I think that's a cool story.
That is fantastic. You had 3 receivers with at least 50 catches. You had one with 94, DeSaussure?
Yes.
Keith
Desishore.
Desishore.
Yeah. A little slot receiver out of Charleston.
Yeah. Is he back or is he
No,
gone?
he's gone. He
He's
graduated.
gone.
Great player for us. Had a heck of a career here. And, that's going to be a tough one. I think that by committee, we've kind of got that taken care of. Those slot guys, they're all over the place. And so we found a handful of them that we feel like we can get the job done with. And I think offensively, we might look a little bit different, but I'm kind of hoping the same outcome. You may be a fresh face here and there, but we got a lot of kids coming back offensively, but the main parts, the Q spot is obviously the key for us.
Yeah. Can you be as successful throwing the ball this year, or do you think you'll have a little bit more reliance on the running game?
I think it's going to be a little more balanced up than it was last year, to be quite honest with you. I think we've got a big target on the outside, and DeAndre Coleman, who I think is a heck of a player. He's going to be in here in a little bit to talk to you. Transfer out of Coastal, I thought had a heck of a year last year. He's kind of the big guy on the outside that goes up and gets it. And then, we got a lot of smaller guys at the slot spot, like Keith Deschishore, that can, little water bug guys that are all over the place. And, we'll kind of spread it around a little bit and try to hammer some people and, run the ball and take a little pressure off the quarterback early, and then, let him do his thing.
Defensively, how much do you return there? You gave up about 25 points per game. I'm sure you'd like to maybe reduce that a little bit.
Yeah, sure would. I think we got a good crowd coming back. The majority of them are back. And our leader, Mikey Blanding, 5th year returning All-American, preseason All-American. He's the heart and soul of it. And I think he's done a great job leading them in the off-season, summer program, and throughout camp. At our level, Phil, it's always either a money thing, you don't have enough of it in scholarship money, or depth-wise, right? That usually one of those two catches up to you sooner or later in Division II football.
Yeah.
And both of those things concern me a little bit going into the season, but I think looking at it from a 1-2 deep, I think we're as talented as we was last year.
Well, the coaches in the league had a hard time deciding on a favorite because they settled on Wingate, but only by a point over you and only by 5 points over Lenoir-Rhyne. And each of you got first-place votes, so pretty divided opinion there. The good thing, is the target on your back, or did they do you a favor and put the target on Wingate's back here and kind of you can show your guys, look, guys, they still don't respect us.
Right.
We go to the Final Four, they still don't respect us.
Right, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head right there. I'd much rather be ranked 2, 3, 4, 5, 7th like last year. I'd much rather be ranked that than number 1. But still we've got that target on us. Nationally ranking, we're ranked above everybody in the league. In our league, we've ranked number 2. But again, it doesn't matter where you start in the rankings, but motivationally, can you use that with the kids? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But, Wingate's a really good program. Lenoir-Rhyne's a really good program. Our league is so close, Phil. From top to bottom, we've got a very competitive, league. I think arguably probably from top to bottom, the best Division II league in the country, in my opinion.
Yeah. You get Lenoir-Rhyne at home, but then the next week you got them. You're going to find out pretty quickly because you're September, Lenoir-Rhyne at home, then a trip to Wingate, and that's your second and third game. So you'll have a pretty good idea of where you're headed there pretty soon.
There's no question.
Yeah.
We open up with Reinhardt. Reinhardt's traditionally a very good football team. They were 7-4 last year. They're ranked 23rd in the country. In NAIA, that's very impressive. And on film, they're a good football team. So right out the gate, Phil, we're going to figure out who we are and what we got.
Well, for people watching the stream, I want to show them this right here. That's pretty sweet.
To win the league and win the region and have an opportunity to go to the semis, none of that's ever been done here.
Yeah.
So it was awesome for the kids, awesome for the coaches. But again, boy, I'd love to have an opportunity to be back there again.
Hey, Bergie, can you see this?
I'm looking right at it.
Yeah, eat your heart out, man. Eat your heart out.
Impressive shirt.
What do you think about that? So what you need to do, Coach, is okay, this says national semifinalist. You just got to get a magic marker.
Just mark through it.
Mark through that.
All
and turn into champion.
What's
the difference between you and Ferris State besides their history, their location? Did you notice a difference between the two of them?
Yeah, when you drive on campus, you feel like you might be at Carolina or Clemson.
Big.
It's that type of campus.
Yeah.
You can pretty much smell the money, when you drive on campus. So they've got a good thing going, and I'm just glad they're 18 hours away.
And you don't have to play them in the regular season.
Hey, look, I'll see you in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out then.
Before we let you go, what's new around here? I see the press box isn't, But
and dorm wise, we've upgraded some things around campus and some apartments and that kind of thing. So I think this building that we're in is 2 years old, and so they kind of shifted gears and went back and said, okay, we got to go back and do something housing wise for the kids and that kind of thing, and then we'll kind of shift gears and come back to the press box after the season. And I think our administration's done a great job backing us and trying to do what they can for us right now, but that's a priority for them at this point, and I'm really pleased with what they've done to support our program.
Jimmy Coggin's on line one.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's waiting.
There's no doubt. I mean,
do you think you're going to leave it over there or put the press box on this side?
No, I think it's going. The plan is to have it over there.
Have it over there. Yeah. On what is now that is now the visitor side.
No, that's always been the home
that's
side.
Still going to be.
It's going to be the home side.
Even though you got the nice building over here.
Right. The Newberry faithful, they don't want to give it up.
They love that side.
They love that side, so we're going to keep it there.
Probably get more shade over there.
Yeah,
that's part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Good luck this season.
Thank you, sir.
Man, I tell you what, that was a magic carpet ride last year. Do it again.
Absolutely.
Do
That's
it
the
again.
plan.
Yeah.
That's the plan. Let's get after it and see what we can do and how far we can go.
Yeah. Best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for coming over.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having us home tonight.
You got it. Coach Todd Knight visiting with us here at Newberry. After the break, we'll be joined by Mikey Blandon, linebacker from Charleston out of First Baptist. He might have been with us last year. That name sounds familiar. And DeAndre Coleman. You know him, don't you, Bergie? He was at Coastal Carolina. And he had a big year last year at wide receiver out of Hueytown, Alabama, home of the Allisons, the Racing Allisons, huh? You're right. Be back in just a moment.
I think music is a kind of magic. As a therapist, I have seen what music can do. It gives you insight into kind of what's going on in their head and their life and their world. Because of my lottery-funded life scholarship, I was able to go to school and turn my passion for music into a career that helps others. And that is pretty magical, too.
Better support means a better South Carolina, and a better South Carolina means a better you. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
Gas prices might be high, but your auto loan rate doesn't have to be. Beat your current auto loan rate by 2% when you refinance with Founders Federal Credit Union. Plus, make no payments for up to 90 days. That's right, save money with a great rate and make no payments for up to 90 days. Let a Founders representative be your trusted advisor to help make the refinance process quick and easy. Don't forget to ask for a free auto insurance quote to protect your purchase. Founders also offers mechanical breakdown protection that's competitive with most warranty plans available at dealerships. Stop by an office or apply on the Founders app today. To learn more, visit foundersfcu.com/auto. Not a Founders member yet? Visit the Founders website to see if you qualify for membership. For additional cost information, call us toll-free 800-845-1614. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network. Guys, back up just a little bit so we can get you in our camera here. How's that look, Plummer? We got them covered?
Not really.
We don't. Back up as far as you can, guys, and pull in a little bit this way. Get tight. How's that? There we go. How's that look, Plummer?
That's great.
We got them. Good. Howdy, fellas.
What's going on, man?
Good to have you with us. These guys just coming off the practice field a little while ago, so they might be a little bit winded. Of course, you caught a break. Mikey, let me get you to pull that microphone down close to you there so we can hear you. Yeah.
Sir.
And that's good right there, DeAndre. All right, so we have got Mikey Blandon, linebacker. Did you join us last year? Did we interview last year before the season?
Yes, sir, we did. Me and Reed.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thought you were in here.
Yes, sir.
And we've got DeAndre Coleman. Look at that hair. Bergie, look at that hairdo. We could only dream about having hair like that. DeAndre is from Hueytown, Alabama. Got to be a race fan.
Yes, sir. I am.
Big. You're an Allison fan?
Yes, sir.
You know the Allisons?
I don't, but I know a Jolene Wilkinson, and she's a racer and a very good one at that.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, you guys are kind of racers the way you ran up and down the field last season. Congratulations on what y'all did. The question is, DeAndre, offensively, can you keep it up? Can y'all match this year what you did last year?
Well, I think it's important for us to understand that we coming with a whole new group, a more confident offensive coordinator, and we coming to get more. I'm coming for more. We're hungrier than we ever will be.
What kind of things are you doing differently offensively?
I feel we're probably putting it in the air a little bit more. We got Coleman Gray, he can put it in there, and we have Mason Kidd, he's slinging it as well.
Mm-hmm. But you had a special quarterback last season.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What was it like with him? I mean, you never gave up on a play with him at quarterback?
Never. It was always if he has the ball in his hand and that whistle hasn't blown, you still running. You're still going. Got to get it.
You know he's going to find you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mikey, how has the defense looked in camp? You guys, you were good last year. Can you take it to another level?
Oh, for sure. That's the plan. Like last year, we were great, but on paper after every game, we always used to look and be like, dang, we gave up that much yards. Like we ain't felt like we gave up that much yards. So this year, we just hopping on the low things. Like we're not trying to be outside this year. We're not trying to have no flags this year. Like just the little things. We do all the little things right. The big plays and the big things, it's gonna fall in hand.
What about you? Have you taken another step in this offseason? Coach was telling me that NFL people know about you, and certainly you're aware of that. What have you worked on? Do you think you've taken another step forward in the offseason?
Most definitely. This offseason, this is the most work I ever put in this offseason. I know you're supposed to put in work every offseason, but this one I was just harping on all the little things, everything I used to mess up on last year. And I brought some of my boys with me, like Santori, he's a young DB. He's going to be great for us coming in. We got our D-line. We got Jay Harris. They've been putting in tremendous effort over the summer. Like, it's a lot of cats that's going to be dogs this year for us and help us out a lot.
So what was last season like, especially when you guys got on the roll and you got into the playoffs and you won those games and now you're playing the national semifinals? Just what was that season like for you?
Man, it's like a little bit of a dream come true and like a rush at the same time. Like I never won that much with no other team that I've been with since little league all the way up to college, and it was just a bunch of memories that I created and stuff that I'll never forget. It was amazing.
Amazing, truly amazing.
Yeah, what do you recall the most about it?
I recall just those nights that we go down there before the game, those Fridays that we drive and those long hours on the road. Those were the ones that really brought us together and just held us too,
Yeah, kind of held you together.
Yes, sir.
So Keith last season had 94 catches, over 1,000 yards. You had 56. I mean, that's a good number for anybody.
Yes,
but
sir.
now, do you view yourself as the number one target, as the primary target?
Well, I like to consider myself as one with the whole team. We really focus on we are one, and when we focus on that, everybody individual job, we will see it through. Like we're gonna see success in everybody individual job. If everybody do what they're supposed to do, we're gonna see it through.
So, I mean, you guys made the Final Four last year, yet you're picked second in your league for this coming year. So, Mikey, is that an insult?
Man, I love it. Since I've been to Newberry, they hated Newberry. Now, I don't care who's running I don't even know behind the analytics and all that behind closed doors, but we've always been like that. Shoot, we beat Wingate and we went farther than them, and we still behind them, and we love that. So when we see them, we're going to have something extra for them. That's all.
Yeah. Do you think, DeAndre, is the target on y'all's back, even though the coaches picked Wingate to win but you're the guys that went to the Final Four?
Yes, sir. Like I was talking with one of the QBs that was out there, we just focus on just being ourselves and being better than who we were last year. You know, we're focused on creating more opportunities for ourselves rather than focusing on anybody else. We working on our game and who we care about.
Mikey, do you look at yourself differently because things went so well last season?
Nah, see, that's one of the things that we're hopping on is don't get big-headed. Last year, we can look at all the good stuff, but it's so much bad stuff that my coach always point out at us, and we're not perfect, and we're far from perfect. But I tell you one thing, if we don't let all the good that happened from last year get in our heads and we just strive for it and work like we're the worst team, it'll be 2 times better than last year. We'll do a lot better than last year.
Did you say not get big-headed or big-haired?
Probably a little bit of both.
Probably a little bit of both.
Now, who's got the best hair on the team?
Bug.
Bug. And that's your nickname.
Yes, sir.
But, I mean, if you took your hair, Mikey, and blew it up, it'd look like that, wouldn't it?
It would, but I don't even think I can get my dreads. I can unlock my dreads, man.
I need me some of that.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna give you some.
That covers a lot of territory. Now, how do you get that inside your helmet?
Well, tell you the truth, it's easier than it may look.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Just like foam?
Yes, sir. Just slide it on back, you know.
Does that help you when somebody pops you? Like you don't feel the vibrations quite as much?
I do feel like it is a little bit of a cushion. I don't know if I'm going to get a concussion no time soon.
We don't want you to have that.
No, sir.
No concussions. Well, we hope you have a healthy year, both of you.
Thank you so much.
And bring some more excitement to South Carolina football.
Yes,
You guys were carrying the flag there last season, man.
Sir. They better tune in.
It was an awesome ride. Best of luck to you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks
for having us.
Thank you for joining us. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Mikey Blandon and DeAndre Coleman here at Newberry. Hang on before you go, guys. I get your picture. I appreciate them visiting with us, and we'll be back. We got Josh Harris from Darlington coming right up.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and comfy this evening, a low temperature dipping to 71. Tomorrow, not as warm, increasing clouds, a high of 89, a 40% chance we get afternoon storm. Rain chances increase Thursday to 50%, 60% on Friday, and high temps much more manageable, the mid to upper 80s the rest of the week. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Hey y'all, this is Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We'd like to invite you and your family to dine with us. We have a great menu that's sure to please your whole family. We have fresh cooked burgers, big juicy wings, blue plate menu featuring country cooking, oven baked hoagies, fresh crisp salads, authentic Greek food like gyros, souvlaki, and baklava. We also carry 20 different premium cheesecakes and pies. Flight Deck Restaurant also has an arcade with 30 different games like Star Wars, Batman, Skee Ball, Bass Wheel, Pac-Man, Galaga, and so much more. Flight Deck, your favorite family restaurant. Thanks y'all and God bless.
100 with SRN News. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Evacuations have been ordered in rural Texas where a wildfire has quickly expanded to cover more than 78 square miles. The fire began early Monday afternoon in the lightly populated area in the north central part of the state. Some schools have canceled classes and shelters have opened for residents and livestock. Wildfires have been popping up across the south and the west in recent days amid extremely dry conditions. Dolly Parton, the beloved film and music star known for her vibrant personality and poignant songwriting, has died. She was 80 years of age. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average up by 180 points today. The Nasdaq rose 171. The S&P 500 advanced by 24 points. More details at srnnews.com.
If you're juggling multiple credit card balances and you're feeling overwhelmed, high interest can add up quickly and it can become stressful to control. Now through September 30th, 2026, well-qualified borrowers can pause interest when they transfer credit card balances and enjoy 0% APR for 12 months. A balance transfer can help simplify your life, making it easier to focus and manage your budget. This limited time offer can help you move forward with confidence and less worry. Plus, with fewer due dates and less interest to worry about, crowd, you can spend more time focusing on what matters most: your goals, your family, and your financial future. Upon expiration, APR will then revert to the standard variable APR, currently 12.5%, to 17.90%. If credit criteria are not met, 17.9% APR will apply. Don't wait. Visit foundersfcu.com/cc for more details. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required.
Have you visited the original Pancake House on Forest Drive lately? Still family owned while focusing on amazing breakfast and lunch, fresh ingredients, and providing a family feel with the best service around. And isn't that what really matters when you go out? It's all about fresh, huge oven-baked omelets, their famous Dutch baby, and wow, those amazing pancakes. Gotta try those apple pancakes. Thick cut bacon, the finest French toast, and oh, those homemade crepes. It's the original Pancake House, Trenton Plaza. Come see us.
South Carolina summers are hot and humid and hard on your air conditioner. When your home stops feeling comfortable, call Sweet Comfort Services. We're family owned and operated with over 30 years of heating and air experience. From service and maintenance to complete system replacement, we're here to keep your family cool. We'll even meet or beat any quote from a licensed competitor. Schedule your appointment online at sweethvac.com or call 803-331-8143. Sweet Comfort Services, comfort you can count on.
At Team Warren Sudduth Automotive on Millwood Avenue, we make caring for your car effortless, day or night. Enjoy our easy drop-off even after business hours. From oil changes to full engine overhauls, our certified technicians handle it all the right way with a 2-year, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty. Plus, it's easy to book an appointment. Go online right now, team1automotive.com. You can pick the time that fits your schedule best. Team One Sudduth Automotive, where reliable, transparent service meets your convenience.
Stranded on the roadside? Don't stress. Call Schroeder's Towing. Day or night, rain or shine, our expert team is ready to help you through any car trouble. Flat tire, an accident, or a dead battery. With top-notch trucks, we'll safely tow anything from compacts to semis. Your safety and your vehicle security are our top priorities. Save our number now, 772-7930. Schroeder's Towing. There when you need us most. 772-7930.
Schroeder's Towing, Columbia's finest and fastest hookers in town.
All right, thanks again to the folks at Newberry. Great job by Coach Knight and the players. One more to go on the Palmetto Pigskin Tour for this year. We'll be up at Erskine tomorrow night, and then it'll be time to play ball. Right now we're going to go racing because we are just a couple of, one Saturday and then a week away from the Cookout Southern 500. We get the chase underway. We got one more regular season race to go. It should be a dandy at Daytona to fill out the playoff field. Let's welcome in once again President of Darlington Raceway, Josh Harris. And good evening to you, sir. How are you?
Good evening. Doing great. A week from today, the campgrounds will be open and race week will officially be underway. So that means we've got a single-digit countdown to race week officially being here.
That's awesome. So like a good grandfather, do you wait by the gate and welcome in the first campers with your arms open and welcome them home and come on back home and shake hands and kiss babies and things like that?
Well, a lot of them arrive before I can even make it out there. So we will go out to the staging area for the infield campgrounds and then make our way to the entrances of the other campgrounds on Tuesday morning and say hello to our first campers that arrive. It's always a nice time to go out there and hear where people are coming from, if it's their first time coming to Darlington or if it's been a long-standing tradition. I always enjoy doing that, set aside some time every race week on Tuesday morning to go out and say hello, and that's always a great way to kick off race week.
Do you recognize any of them, like maybe the Smiths from Huntersville, North Carolina, or the Johnsons from Clio, South Carolina? Do you recognize the same people coming to the races every year?
I recognize faces, and I'm starting to learn some names, but don't give me any exams because I probably wouldn't do great. But no, we do have some that every time they're one of the first to arrive, whether they're first or coming in. They always arrive Tuesday morning. We have some that come and they're a little bit more local, but they want to beat the rush and have all the space in the world to set up their campsite. So they'll come in on Tuesday, set up the camper. They may go back and have to work the rest of the week, and then everything's ready for them to come back Thursday evening or Friday afternoon. So that's always fun. And then we've got some that come out and they're there for the entire week. They'll come in Tuesday morning. They're there until we shut the gates on Monday afternoon.
Who has the key to that gate? Is it like one person has the key to that lock on that gate, or do multiple people have access?
We've got a couple, but it's a small list for sure. So we make sure that everybody can get in at the right time, and we're pretty flexible with them on leaving on Monday. We say we need everybody out by noon on Monday, but it's a holiday. We're not rushing everybody out, but most everybody's needs to get on the road to get back home wherever it is. That's the beauty of Labor Day weekend, is everybody has Monday as a holiday, and they can take their time getting out and getting back home.
So as we look at Daytona, the last race to qualify for the playoffs, 13 spots have been filled, so 3 spots are open. You got Bubba Wallace, Austin Cindric, and Shane Van Gisbergen, 14 through 16. Then Priest, Keselowski, Chastain, Jones. Those are the ones immediately under the cut line. What do you think's going to happen? It's hard to predict Daytona, I get that, but what do you think? Do you think the 3 in position will hold on, or somebody from below will rise up?
Yeah, I think you start with Bubba Wallace. He essentially has to start the race, and he will be locked in. He's 1 or 2 points shy of clinching a spot, and that should happen by the time he takes a green flag at Daytona. So we'll count Bubba as in.
Okay.
That leaves Austin Cindric and SVG kind of as the 2 that have a little bit of work to do. And then behind that, I think Ryan Priest and Brad are the only 2 that are mathematically still eligible to make it. We'll start with Brad. He essentially needs to win both stages or finish very high up in both stages and win the race to get all the bonus points. And then still would probably need a little bit of help from SVG, not having a good race. So Brad's going to have the longest shot. I think it's really going to come down to Ryan Priest and SVG. If SVG can have a good run, solid run, he's about 20 points or so ahead. I think he'll maintain. But that's why Daytona is always a wild card. Austin Cindric probably feels okay, but you never feel great going into Daytona when so much is at stake and you're running so close together in a pack. So plus we've got a new rules package in Daytona this weekend that we haven't run. NASCAR and the teams have been working on this to try to improve the racing at Daytona and Talladega. So a lot of unknowns. I wouldn't want to be either of those guys kind of having to make sure that you get some stage points and put yourself in position to get a good finish.
Josh, what is the incentive for a driver, say, for instance, like an Austin Dillon, Ricky Stenhouse, AJ Allmendinger, the guys who have no shot to get into the chase? And maybe this is the one negative of going away from the win and you're in format. What is the incentive for them, not only this weekend, but for throughout the playoffs moving forward? Is it building momentum for next year? Is it, in some regards, I guess, looking for a new ride? I mean, what are some of the drivers who won't be making the playoffs? What do they do from here to the end of the year?
Well, I think all of those things you mentioned are certainly on the table, but I think it really comes down to something pretty simple, and that's going after a checkered flag. All of these guys race because they love the competition and they want to win races. And while a championship helps cement legacies and rewards the season long, and it's what you're aiming for ultimately, by this time in the season, I think a lot of these teams have kind of figured out, are they championship contenders or are they not? And whether you've got the playoff format and when you're in, even if you did have that under that old format and you did win Daytona, you still, after that, have to come to Darlington and then the next 9 races and run probably better than you have all season. So
right.
I think it's pure and simple. What all these guys get into this for is they want to go out, they want to win races, they want to collect checkered flags, and that's enough motivation to keep all the other 20 that aren't in the chase field going after it every week for the remainder of the year.
Can you sum up what Denny Hamlin has accomplished this year? Just finished off being another regular season championship for him. He's already won 3 titles, but in comparison to, say, 2016, 2019 for him, where do you think this season to this point ranks against his best years? And does he have to close the deal now to get his 4th to make this a really, really great season?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you compare it to his previous seasons, the thing that sticks out to me is getting off to not to say a slow start, but he didn't come right out of the gate winning a Daytona 500. He really just was consistent when he wasn't winning races, and I'm sure Denny's had a couple of runs that he would maybe want back, but I can't think off the top of my head of any significant slumps. Even at tracks where he hasn't traditionally been the best, road courses, street courses, he still has elevated his performance throughout the course of this season so far. And I think that's what stands out to me. Tyler Reddick, obviously, he owns that car. Tyler got off to such a big, lead in the points after the first 8 weeks of the season. And for Denny to be able to overcome that and now, have a 100+ point lead, I think it shows the high level that he continues to run. It's a challenge, and I know he wants to close it out. I mean, obviously they went through a lot over the off season with his family, right. The tragedy there, and obviously all the stuff in the lawsuit and that getting settled. It was a short and long off season at the same time for Denny. Probably, I would imagine, maybe didn't come in as prepared as he would normally come in, but he hasn't let that slow him down. And I think this is the year that with this format, if he continues to have the same kind of consistency, plus he's got some tracks coming up where he's won a lot of races. I think he's certainly going to be the favorite and put himself in strong position to finally get that elusive championship.
A couple more minutes with Josh Harris, president of Darlington. So as we get ready for the chase, are you satisfied that the return to this format for the playoffs was a good decision by NASCAR, and fans have really enjoyed the regular season, and this is the kind of qualification format to get to the playoffs that they really wanted for the drivers?
I do. I think you look back at different times of this year, and whether it was, a guy like Corey Heim winning the San Diego race and backing that up in Indianapolis, like the race wins have been able to stand on their own across the season and really drive a lot of the storylines. Instead of you immediately win a race and we start talking about, oh, you've locked yourself into the playoffs. So I think it's done that, which is what a lot of the fans were asking for. And at the same time, it's created this conversation through the summer months of, hey, who's performing well? Who's running consistently? Who has work to do before we get to Darlington and kick off the chase without overshadowing those individual events? And for me, I'm excited about that because, after this weekend in Daytona, all the attention turns to Darlington, a crown jewel event, the Cookout Southern 500. And while winning that race will be great for that driver, especially if it is a chase driver in terms of positioning themselves for the championship run, there's no automatic advancement or anything else that's going to overshadow what winning at Darlington and winning a crown jewel event means. And I think that is where things kind of need to even out when we're talking about the championship versus the individual races. And I think it allows the drivers to truly enjoy winning while still focusing on the larger objective of winning a championship.
All right, so we've got rest of this week and next week to finish selling all the tickets. You probably have just a little bit left in the barrel there, so people need to move quickly and grab those tickets. Do you have some good tickets remaining, or what's the situation ticket-wise, and what do people need to do?
Well, there's still some available, but there's never going to be any more than there are right now. They continue the sales pace continues to pick up, and we're expecting a full house. We need everybody out there to help us get to that sellout. So go to darlingtonraceway.com. Right there on the main page, we get all the information you need. I would love to have everybody join us for Saturday night's race, the Fleetio 200, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, 7:30 at night, and then we turn them back around on Sunday at 5 p.m. With the Cookout Southern 500. It's going to be a phenomenal race weekend. We've got a lot of activities taking place off the track leading into the races, and I can't wait to, like I said at the top, can't wait to open up the campgrounds on Tuesday and get this thing going. So get all the information, darlingtonraceway.com, or call us at 866-459-RACE.
And, Josh, don't forget, best sunset in NASCAR.
That's right. You're going to get an extra hour to anticipate it sitting up in the grandstands. And I'm projecting, somewhere around about the last 100 laps or so, we're going to get that great sunset, and then we'll get to watch those guys run for the checkered flag.
Fantastic. We'll get all the final details about the weekend from you next Tuesday after you start welcoming people in. Thank you. We'll talk to you next week. Great having you with us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Josh Harris, president of Darlington. I wonder if the way he got off to a great start, he's cooled off, but he's still well up in the standings. I wonder if Tyler Reddick is going to find that gear again when it gets to the postseason. What do you think?
You wonder if he's been playing possum the last couple of months, just laying back, figuring out what he needs for the final 10 races? Impossible.
Who knows? We'll be right back.
Plan your summer getaway with Founders Federal Credit Union. This year, make your dream adventure a reality with special rates on recreational vehicle loans. And for a limited time, we'll beat your current rate by 2%. Whether you're interested in an RV, motorcycle, or a boat, and you're envisioning a cross-country road trip, a weekend escape to the mountains, or spontaneous journeys wherever the road might take you, Founders makes it easy to finance your dream vehicle. Enjoy the freedom to explore, knowing you've locked in a great rate. Our team is here to help you every step of the way, from application to adventure. Don't let high rates hold you back. Let Founders help you save and get moving on your next big journey. Visit foundersfcu.com/RV loans for more details. Promotional rate ends July 31st, 2026. That's foundersfcu.com/RV loans. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required.
Looking for thrills? Then welcome to the South Carolina Education Lottery, where excitement's the name of the game, and every chance at a win
Just one more. Come on, so close.
comes with the chance of a whiff.
Ugh. Well, no biggie.
Nicely done. You handled it like a pro. Because when the stakes start getting too real and you find yourself playing for more than fun, it might be time to take a break.
Good point.
Playing for fun makes you a better player, and a better player is a better you. Learn more at SCEducationLottery.com.
This is Major Billy Downer with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Boating season is right around the corner here in the Palmetto State. As you get ready for this spring and summer, make sure your registration sticker is up to date and you have a copy of your registration card on board your boat. For more information on boat registration and answers to common questions, visit dnr.sc.gov.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
Okay, let's give you the recruiting report tonight, brought to you by Seawells. Don't forget Seawells, the website, SeawellsCateringSC.com for all their menu options, and their phone number, 803-771-7385, to talk with someone directly to get all your questions answered. Let them handle your most important events that require the best in catering. That is Seawells, their new location inside the State Fairgrounds. All right, just a few notes in basketball. How about this? 2028 6-foot Chris Paul, number 2 of Valley Village, California. According to Dushan London of 24/7 Sports, he'll take an unofficial visit to South Carolina on September 19th. So Chris Paul's son going to visit South Carolina. Football, 2029 running back Braden Bolts, formerly of Crestwood. He's now in Fort Worth, Texas. He was offered by LSU. Boy, that guy has really blown up. Of course he is, yeah. Of course he's offered by LSU. Who isn't? And Boston College offered 4 players at Dutch Fork, 2028 offensive lineman Brody Lorenzo, 2028 defensive back Kareem Dupree, 2029 wide receiver Corey Miller, and 2029 defensive back Tadrick Gibson. All from Dutch Fork, all offered by Boston College. All right, there you go. A truncated version of the recruiting report tonight here on Sports Talk. All right, let's bring you a little more Shane Beamer from his press conference today. And we picked this up with him answering a question. Oh, dear Lord, I forgot what the question is. Let's just go to it. Question. Here's the answer.
Yeah, I think you're always looking at every scenario of how to make your team better and care about DQ, and he's done a lot of great things for South Carolina football. Valuable member of our program for a long time, and will always be a part of the family here. But in this instance, not real in depth. No, it was for us. We really like the group that we have right now. Here's a little depth chart preview, a solid 4 of, Busey, Currents, Peyton, and Kendall Daniels right now, like where those guys are, and felt like the best thing for us was just continue to pour into those guys and keep getting them better.
And walking in, I saw Brady Hunt. Is he dealing with something with his leg right
Yeah,
now?
he's got a little we're making fun of him. He's got a bruise, but he's got a big brace on right now. So I'm just messing with you. He got a little banged up in the scrimmage, nothing long term. He's just got that on right now from I don't necessarily say precaution, but just to be able to help it heal as quick as possible, to be back out there as quick as possible. So he, didn't practice today, but with Brady, don't anticipate it being anything long term.
Hey, Shane, what kind of role do you envision Ethan having when the season begins? Because he's a guy that's made almost 40 starts in his career. He's coming in a little bit late with a little under 2 weeks to go. But you've also got guys in that DB room, aside from Vicari and Judge, that are competing to try and earn serious reps at that position.
Yeah, we wouldn't have brought him in if we didn't feel like he had a chance to make an immediate impact, Jack, and we do. Now, it's not easy, don't get me wrong. He hasn't played since November, December, whenever their last game was. So that was my question. It was, okay, what's he been doing since then? Like, we don't need some guy that's been, sitting at the house since January. He's got to get in shape and all that. He's been staying active and staying busy. That really helped because he has played so much football that Clayton and Torian got him, like I said, he was here on Saturday, and on Saturday afternoon after the scrimmage, Clayton and Torian were able to sit down with him and, okay, what did you guys call this in your system? Okay, we call it this. What did y'all call man free? We call it this here. What do y'all call 3-week buzz? Okay, here we call it this. And just trying to get the terminology part of it figured out. But, early signs are positive, and the thing with Ethan is he brings experience, because we've got 2 corners in Judge and Vicari that are competing at a high level, right now, and playing at a high level, I should say. And then we've got some guys behind them that are good players but are unproven, young, whatever you want to call it. So to be able to add just an older guy in there that can help on defense, help on special teams. He may play 0 plays against Kent State. He may play 50 plays against Kent State. I don't really know. We've got to acclimate him quickly and see where he is. But the fact that he's an older guy and he's played a lot of football is an advantage for him because he understands football.
You've mentioned several times that Peak and Stewart are on track. If there's a track, it would seem like y'all have some benchmarks in mind. Can you provide a little bit of clarity on what that track may look like? Is there a hope date for them to put on pads and begin contact or something along those lines?
Yeah, I think for those guys, it's being able to really, it's contact would be a benchmark, where it's contact with whether it be a blocking sled or another person in practice. There's that contact that has to happen. And then there's that would be a benchmark certainly that in my mind is kind of the next step in regards to benchmark. Dylan has been able to, they've been more involved in what we're doing on the practice field over the last week than what they were the first week. There's no question about it. Does that mean they're going full speed? No. But they're a little bit more involved with stuff, whether it be in practice or a jog through pace. And so really a benchmark that would be kind of the next one for those guys, John, would be hitting something or someone physically and then being able to get out there and do it in practice. But again, like those would be kind of the next two benchmarks in regards to playing. And we're getting very, very close to that, because what I'm not going to do is, Dylan gets cleared on a Wednesday or a Thursday, and then he goes out there one day in practice in an 11-on-11 setting, and then we just turn him loose on Saturday. Like, I'm not going to do that to him. That's not what's best for him or our football team. So, we're hitting those benchmarks, and we're certainly on track. There's never been a point in this rehab process with either one of those guys where I feel like we've taken a step back this week or now we're behind schedule. Not one time. And which excites me as we go into the month of September about how quickly they are going to be back out there.
All the Beamers on our website. In fact, his next answer was about the offensive line, and he said they'll have about 8 offensive linemen ready to roll in and out by the time they play Kent State. Just getting in a few minutes ago, the SEC presidents voted on a pro player ban. The vote was unanimous, and they've granted Commissioner Greg Sankey unlimited powers to enforce the rule. The rules are you cannot have on your roster an athlete who has previously declared for the NFL, NBA, WNBA draft and did not appropriately withdraw, or signed a contract with an NFL or other pro football league, NBA, G League, WNBA or affiliate team, or been listed on an NFL or other professional football league, NBA, G League, or WNBA or affiliate roster. And the commissioner
Can't wait for Kiffin's reaction to this.
Yeah, really. The commissioner can penalize you. We'll see you from Erskine tomorrow.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm